The Yoga Sutra is where the 8 limbs of yoga are really expounded upon and first written down. And the Yoga Sutra was written as kind of this pathway of yoga. The first chapter was written for those who've been practicing yoga for a long time and have already really achieved the higher states of meditation and samadhi. And so the first chapter is beginning with the most advanced students and saying, this is what yoga is. Yoga is the mastery of the roaming tendencies of your mind. And then it moves on to the different types of roaming tendency the mind does, and the different levels of samadhi, and moves more in that direction of the higher levels of yoga. The second chapter of the Yoga Sutra is for the everyday Joe and Jane, like you and me, who is practicing, thank you. We haven't achieved a state where at any given moment, no matter what's going on, turn the mind to complete stillness, right? We've maybe touched it and experienced it here and there, but we're still practicing to achieve the mastery over that ability. And so the second chapter is where the 8 limbs of yoga come in. And it talks about the afflictions of the mind, the things that afflict our mind, which begin with ignorance. Okay, so all afflictions, everything that troubles your mind starts with ignorance. But what does that mean? What is ignorance?
Knowledge. Not knowing.
What is the root word of ignorance? Ignore. So it is a not knowing due to an ignorance of the truth of who you are. But the ignoring of the truth of your being is not like we're consciously choosing to ignore, because if we were consciously choosing to ignore, we wouldn't be here trying to find it, right? We wouldn't go to yoga class because we'd be consciously ignoring it. It's an unconscious ignorance that is produced by Maya. Maya is the veil, the illusion. It's the veil that covers us, that keeps us from seeing it. But it's not, but it's a requirement. It is an absolute requirement in order to have human birth, to have this ignorance, this veil. And this veil comes as a blanket of compassion, not as a barrier or a wall of punishment that it can sometimes feel like when we're in this spiritual journey, longing for awakening and feeling like there's some gap, or some clinging on to what isn't really real, but we don't even know how to really let it go. The veil of Maya is this blanket of compassion. Have you guys ever wanted to do like lucid dreaming, where you like go to sleep and you try to wake up in your dream so that you can like not be bound by the dream but still stay in your dream? Okay, this is life. That's the life of God. I can't wait to go to sleep and see if I can wake up and stay in my dream, awake, so that I'm not living in my dream or being bound by it. It's like Christ said, to be in this world but not of it. You get to have an experience, but not forget that these experiences have no power to harm you. Nothing in this world has the power to harm you. Now, yes, your body can be hurt or harmed, and even your mind, but you're not your body and you're not your mind. Your mind is a repository of aversions and attraction. It's a repository of karmas, of memories, of imaginations, of facts, and of lies. But it's not the truth of who you are. So you're not your body and you're not your mind. But in order to play this game and to have experiences but not be bound to them, we have to go to sleep. And that is the veil of Maya. Go to sleep, and then there's this subtle impulse. There's an impulse innate in every human being, because we are that divine essence that is like ready and excited to see if we can wake up in the dream. There's an impulse to do that, and that is the impulse of desire for ultimate freedom and fulfillment, for spiritual freedom and fulfillment. So sometimes we can get into this world and it feels very hard and heavy and burdensome. But there's it is. But it doesn't stay that way. As you begin to release your identification with your story, the ego, with your likes and your dislikes, and do practices that propel you in that direction, propel you up those walls to that state of being.